What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles. You're listening to Lyles Movie Files. Thank y'all for tuning in. As always, got a good show for you tonight. We are going to be breaking down our personal top 10 favorite comic book castings of all time. I'm sure some of us are going to have 15 honorable mentions, but we're going to try to keep this to our favorite 10 best performances. I came up with my list and it's already over 10, so we'll see how the rest of the guys do as well. Remember, you can always subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, the Himalaya Network, and pretty much everywhere else you can subscribe and download podcasts. So subscribe, send along, share with your friends, and drop a line. Let us know what you think of the show. So with that said, fellas, what's up? Chief, how you doing tonight, man?
Hey, Jeff, I'm doing well, man. I'm doing real well. Just want to give a good shout out to all the listeners and to all my podcast mates, and it's good being back.
It's good to have you back, man. How did the how'd your interview go with the DJ contest go?
I do well in interviews. People tend to like me. So yeah, it went well. I mean, I appreciate you asking.
Oh, of course, man. You know, every station needs a good slow jams, late night voice, and you and my man definitely have it.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Jeff. You're funny. I
Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
that.
Thank you. Jay King, what's up with you, man?
I'm coolin', man. How you doing?
Outstanding. Little brother Jace, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. My slow jam interview, I came in after Lonnie. They just said sorry, it's already taken. So I'm a little disappointed by that, but you know, I'm maintaining.
Very good. Okay, so if I were to do a quick, hey, who's my favorite Spider-Man actor? I'm 100% going with Tom Holland. So that kind of is what led me down this path of challenging you all to give me your top 10 favorite comic book performances or castings. So, which one of you guys wants to go first? I'll take that silence to mean Jace, you want to go. So, little brother, take it away.
Oh man, well, you know, I would lie and say that this list is just an easy 10, but that's not accurate. Because the funny thing is, like, there's been a lot of characters that have played. I mean, there's been people to portray multiple roles, and you're like, oh, this was a great performance of it. Oh, then you see this other one, you're like, no, this was the best performance ever. And then kind of how, like, you say Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man, and I didn't. I think after Tobey Maguire's grinding, dancing, and Spider-Man 3, that everything in that went down a drain. And that dude could never keep his mask on, so everybody in New York knows who Spider-Man is. And somebody has actually blackmailed Spider-Man, like, hey, dude, I'm going to need you to take care of this, brother, because I know I got pictures of you being Spider-Man, and that's going down. So, but I'm going to try and keep it relatively short, and since I actually have the first spot, no one will initially jump on me saying, you know, I had that one too. First, I'm going to go easy, is Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. I think he was the perfect choice for that role, and he helped get credibility to it. It's like, oh yeah, I totally see him as Tony Stark. Oh yeah, and then he's been, you know, his life antics are like, oh yeah, I could see him totally being Tony Stark. You know, he's a drug, you know, the bad behaviors, you know, in his early 20s, and then he has a moment to grow up. It's like, okay, that was a good cast. My second one is Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds was so good in Deadpool. I mean, X-Men Origin, before they decided to chop the role and just decided to forget who Deadpool was, and supposedly has a healing ability, but couldn't heal the fact that they sewed his lips together. Whatever. But he actually decided to make a trailer of his version of Deadpool, and it gets so many views on YouTube or whatever that they actually decide to make a full movie, and Fox had to say, "Oh, well, that's a success." Is that how you make X-Men movies? Nah, that's it. That's silly. Let's put them back in stupid costumes and make no sense in anything.
And give them horrible dialogue.
Yeah. Let these be words that no one has ever said. You know who we should hire? We should hire some wrestling writers to write our dialogue for X-Men. Yeah. That's great. Great idea. Good. My next one is going to be Michael Rosenbaum for Lex Luthor. Honestly, he kind of very much played the young version of Lex Luthor from the animated series and made him into an adult, like, hey, I would be this really good guy, except, my best friend keeps lying to me all the time because he thinks I'm going to be a bad guy. And all the lying is actually going to make me a bad guy. And I kind of want, I want to be the most important person in the world and damn all the rest of you. So I thought his take on Lex Luthor was perfect. I have yet to see anyone near coming close to it. And I like Gene Hackman's, but I got much used to I like the businessman Lex Luthor a lot more than the crook who just can't get his way. I mean, he's the smartest man in the world, but just as a crook. The next one I'm also going to go with another Superman movie, Terrence Stamp as General Zod. Honestly, that is still one of my favorite bad guy performances. I mean, just bar none. I mean, like, to me, he's up there with, Darth Vader. It's just like, yeah, I'm so cool. I don't have to do anything. I'm just as strong as Superman, but I'm just superior to all of you. It's just I love that performance. So, let me see. Let me try not to mess with my honorable mentions. I'm gonna go with the next one. I'm gonna go with is Wesley Snipes is Blade, because I really think without his Blade, if you put Sticky Fingers in there as Blade, Marvel, none of these superhero movies we watch today would be made without Wesley Snipes pulling a very credible Blade out. And I thought, even when he had lackluster bad guys, he still looked like, the vampire hunting, dude, the Daywalker. So he's definitely on the list. The next one, Jeff, you're going to have to tell me if I'm starting to go close to my 10.
But you weren't keeping track of your list?
There was a reason, because I said I had a whole bunch of honorable mentions. See, that was the easy way to get around it.
Okay.
Okay, hold on. I got like 3 more. Okay.
Ridiculous.
No. I'm not. I'm really close.
All right.
I'm gonna go with, and this is my hard one. I'm gonna go with Henry Cavill as Superman, because he actually looks like Superman.
I'm pretty sure he pronounces his name Cavill.
I
actually watched the Google thing to see how he pronounced his name.
So how you say it?
Cavill.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like, as I say, like, Superman is one of my favorite, like, Superman 1 and 2 are my favorite movies. I watch that any time of day, anytime it's on. And because it literally takes me back to my childhood, and it's like just a great superhero movie. But now as an adult, Henry looks the part of the big giant Superman that if you actually had superpowers, you'd still be like, all right, it's going to take me a little bit of time to knock you out. So I'm going to think about it before I jump up there. Next one, I got 2 more. I'm going to go with Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I mean, it's as much as everybody. I mean, we love some of the other performances on his Joker was just like, I mean, going back to how we were as kids. Jack Napier was cool, and then when he became Joker, like crazy madman, us as kids were like, yes, that is exactly how Joker would be. This is great. This is really, like, we actually get to see a real life Joker. This is perfect. And my last one is I'm gonna go with.
Hold on real fast. So let me make sure I got your list down so far.
Okay.
Terrence Stamp, Michael Rosenbaum, Henry Cavill,
Uh-huh.
Wesley Snipes,
Yep.
Robert Downey Jr.,
Yep.
Ryan Reynolds, Jack Nicholson.
Uh-huh.
So I have 3 more for you.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. I'm gonna give 1 to Maggie Roby is Harley Quinn.
Margot.
Okay,
I got you.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I didn't circle the O. Right. Yeah. Her, as much as some of us don't like, I didn't think Suicide Squad was horrible, but her Harley Quinn was demented and crazy, but still was like she's had a couple bad breaks. So her crazy is like, oh well, she's psychopath. Dunked her in some acid. She fell in love. Who hasn't had a bad situation like that? And she really did make that Suicide Squad fun. So at least when she was on screen. The next one I'm gonna go with is Chris Evans as Captain America. I was initially like, wait a minute, this dude just played Johnny Storm, and he was perfect as Johnny Storm. Now you're gonna have him going almost the complete 180 to be Captain America. This dude is like one of the more boring dudes in comic books. Like, what? Really? Come on, this is just horrible. And then after you saw Captain America: First Avenger, like, oh wow, he really does pull this off as Captain America. And then every subsequent movie, you're just like, yeah, that role's his. We're now going to see hopefully not see another Captain America for at least 20 years, and other than Sam as Captain America, but is Steve Rogers. He was perfect. Next one, and I guess I'm going to go with my last one, is John Barenthal is Punisher. Once he stepped on the scene as Punisher in season 2 of Daredevil, I was like, yeah, it was almost after watching that, I was almost mad that they hadn't made a Punisher movie that I liked as much as his portrayal of Punisher. It was just like, this is a dude who's lost his family and he's just going to take revenge on basically every underworld dude he thinks who was involved in it. And then his story arc, even in the Daredevil, was really good. And then when you got to 2 subsequent Punisher series, it was like, I think if he doesn't go into the Marvel universe, MCU, if they try and bring a Punisher in there but it's not him, I think they're missing. Just making a humongous mistake. So that is my 10, and I will try not to jump in on everybody else's 10 when I completely co-sign with what they say.
All right, nice job. So, welcome to the big show, the big gun. How are you, man?
That's good. How's it going, man?
Good, man. So we've gone through Jace's top 10.
Oh wow.
And now we've got Javon, we've got Chief, we've got you in mind. So let's see. Let me roll the wheel, and let's see who's going next.
You have an actual wheel?
No, I'm just setting up the drama, making it sound, keeping the listeners on edge, ready to see who's going up next. And the wheel of imagination is now spinning on to Chief. What you got, man?
All right. Hey, Gunner, how you doing, man?
That's good, brother.
Oh, Gunner, you didn't get the news that Chief is now going to be the new Love Jams and Slow Talk DJ.
That's what's up. All right.
All right, Chief, my fault. Go ahead, man.
Officially untrue, Gunner. Let's check this out here. Yeah, here we go. I agree with some of the things that Jason said previously. So we're gonna go with Henry as Superman. You know how, if you've been listening for a long time, you know how fired up I've got that they're gonna try to reboot this Superman without him, and I don't know how you reboot a reboot But I guess it's something like refried beans. I guess you're gonna refry them. I don't know. So, yeah, the demise of the Superman is it's hurtful, but he was Superman to me. It was an excellent he made the movie. He brought the realness to the movie. I felt like. Number two, there's no particular order. I'm just saying as I wrote them down. Of course, Heath Ledger has the Joker. I think it was on earlier. I was watching it. The performance is just excellent. As much as you like the action scenes from Batman in that movie, it's almost like you couldn't wait for the Joker scenes. You knew they were going to be just him talking. The scene earlier was when he walked in on the mob bosses, and he was like, "I can tell the squealers." Just the scenes like that made the Joker excellent in that movie. His presence was just excellent. We haven't. I don't. You guys remember? You guys like the Jack Nicholson Joker from the '80s or early '90s, whenever that came out. I wasn't. Those Batmans from those, I guess from those times, they were kind of like comedy Batman. It was almost like a updated version of Batman from the '60s with Adam West, and to me, they were
That
funny.
means you caught the third one.
They were funny, but they kind of followed along that lines of I want to say foolishness. This last Batman with Bale brought a seriousness to Batman like the comic books normally does. I mean, Batman wasn't kind of and the characters thought they weren't idiots in a sense. Anyway, speaking of Bale, that's gonna be my other one, Batman, Christian Bale's Batman. Also an excellent portrayal to me of Batman. If we were gonna go with how Batman was in the comic books versus movies, I mean, I'd have to say he was the closest to it. He wasn't. It didn't seem like he was kind of like he wasn't a comedian.
Wait.
Even
So
though,
you're saying you're forgetting about George Clooney?
Yeah.
Just checking.
I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, no. None of those guys.
So I'm like,
me.
he must have came in before Michael Keaton, because that Tim Burton version was exactly what it was supposed to be and what you're describing.
I didn't like that. I mean, I can watch it. I'm not a Tim Burton fan anyway. Let me just say that.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's all. I was like, something.
Oh. About to say,
it was the night before Christmas and right. All these.
Let's get nuts.
I can't stand.
I see that. Too.
I can't stand Tim Burton like that. Did he do Edward Scissorhands?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. He did.
That might be. I think that might be the only Tim Burton movie that I can halfway get through.
You like Beetlejuice?
Most of the time, I'm just.
You ain't like
Beetlejuice. Yeah, Beetlejuice was cool. I'll give Beetlejuice. I'll give you that. But I'm just saying that Tim Burton has a. I just don't dig him like that. I can do without Tim Burton. And I'm not saying he might have his genius movie, whatever he does. It doesn't fit me all the time. All his movies. Sometimes I see a Tim Burton movie, and I can't reach for the remote quick enough. Sometimes I'm like, where the hell is the remote? You know what I mean? And I get it that you like him. Listen, there's no hate in my heart for any of you that you love Tim Burton. I'm just not going to come to a Tim Burton marathon if you run one.
It takes a little God mindset to you're gonna do a Tim Burton marathon. Oh. I'm just talking about 2 movies at a time. I'm not talking about the whole damn day. That's that's too much to ask of anybody who's not depressed.
The thing about Michael Keaton and which always, he never looked like Batman to me. And I'm gonna take a 10-second pause here for just a second. Just let me get a 10 seconds before you throw flag on the field. Michael Keaton, when you watch the comics, you get a sense that from the way the women swoon over Bruce Wayne, that he's somewhat attractive. Now, here, listen to me. I'm heterosexual just like the rest of you. But there's nothing about Michael Keaton that looks cool and attractive to me. Like, when I can look at the Fonz when I was young, and I'd be like, man, the Fonz is cool. You know what I mean? I can see why.
Look at his shoulders.
Right. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could just be like, you say, yeah, that guy, I can see him getting girls. Right. You could see that about some dudes. Michael Keaton, if he was dating a woman, it was for the money. She was like, oh, that's Bruce Wayne, he's rich. Let's just be honest. Let's be honest. Michael Keaton wasn't an attractive Batman, Bruce Wayne. He didn't look like he worked out.
No.
So I could sit right here, right now, and tell you if I had to pick between Christian Bale punching me in my face or Michael Keaton from that era punching me in my face, I would pick Michael Keaton all the time, every time. So it's nothing. He did no workout. Did he do a workout scene as Bruce Wayne? I don't even remember that. Probably not. Michael Keaton was not.
He was hanging upside down.
Yeah, he did something.
Yeah. Did some sit-ups.
Yeah.
He wasn't impressed.
Come on. Yeah, nobody was impressed there. Nobody was like, Michael Keaton's been hitting the weights. He looks like the part. So,
he did.
Like I said,
you're right.
I'm just.
The bad suit was a muscle suit. Yeah, okay.
Okay, and then that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, I get that you like them, and Tim Burton is awesome to y'all. I'm just saying, Michael Keaton wasn't it for me. George Clooney was the one with he had Robin with him, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we don't talk about
nipples on that bat suit.
Yeah, we don't.
Right, not on the nipples on the bat suit, but that's when him and Robin were fighting over Poison Ivy, right?
Yeah,
just that movie was just. We just don't do that.
What movie are you guys talking about?
That never happened.
Right. I just remember a soundtrack called Batman and Robin. I don't remember a movie.
Yeah. Interesting. So, and that's all I'm saying, fellas. So Christian Bale has it. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. I wish the X-Men stories were better. I wish they weren't such garbage. I think they wasted Hugh Jackman's talent as Wolverine the whole damn time. These movies could have been so much better. They had a dude who looked like Wolverine. And they blew it. They blew it. You know what I mean? The X-Men movies are a shit sandwich, and no one wants to bite into that. Where do we go from there? Gal Gadot, I guess I'm saying her name right. Wonder Woman, excellent fit. Even in the comic books, of course, they Wonder Woman has this super body, but I think that for the DC thing, they've got a beautiful woman playing Wonder Woman who fits the part. She fits Wonder Woman. You could hell, Linda Carter. We could argue Linda Carter really. I mean, to be honest with you, was a perfect Wonder Woman. I think the two of them are similar, in beauty-wise in their heyday. And I enjoyed watching Wonder Woman back when I was younger. I enjoyed watching this Wonder Woman here. All right. You know what, man? Who's the guy that plays the Black Panther?
Chadwick Boseman.
What's his
Howard
name?
University's own Chadwick Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman, yes. I don't know why I know his name, and I couldn't think of his name at the time. And but Chadwick made an excellent Black Panther. Obviously, he must be nailing his African accent because I've not heard anyone say it was bad. So
You know the story behind that, right?
No, please enlighten me.
So there's plenty of Marvel comic maps of where Wakanda is. So he went to that region of real life Africa to, get the accent down. That's what I read.
Well,
that's method acting if I haven't heard it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dedication to his craft.
And that means you have a little extra money in your pocket.
Also,
when you can do that.
Took that James Brown money. He took that James Brown movie money and said, "I'm gonna do this."
Oh, that 42.
Or that 45. Yeah, 42, whatever.
I'm agree with Jace as far as Robert Downey Jr. on Iron Man. I'm gonna take it to the X-Men again with Patrick Stewart as Professor X. Once again, an excellent actor, wasted on crappy material for the franchise. But you gotta ask yourself, Patrick Stewart was excellent. I liked him as Professor X. Here we are. We're getting down to the my man who played Luke Cage.
Mike Coulter.
Yeah, that's the guy. Mike Coulter. I think that's one of the reasons why Luke Cage also was popular, because he looked like a dude who, he was nice built dude, looked like a dude. He wasn't the Michael Keaton of that movie. They didn't hire Chris Rock to be
right.
Luke Cage.
Lauren Tate as Luke Cage.
Right. You know what I mean? So yeah. And that makes a difference when you hire the right people to do the right, to play the right character. Now this one's a little bit, I say a little bit left fieldish, but you bear with me for a second. Jackie Earl Haley. That's Rorschach from The Watchmen.
Good one.
Now, that movie,
dude, that was gonna be the one I knew nobody else was gonna say. Crap.
Yeah. So that movie
apparently,
was.
I forgot who I'm on the show with. Awesome.
Go ahead, Chief.
Awesome.
And that dude made that movie I didn't enjoy that movie. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was Chocolate Daddy the whole way through, except for my man's part.
Yep.
That's, you know what I mean?
Jackie Earl Haley killed it, dude.
Yeah, he made that movie. When he got to jail, he was like,
"That's my favorite scene.
Here with you. You're
locked in here with me."
Yeah, he was just excellent in that movie, man. He made his scenes in The Watchmen worth watching, where the rest of the scenes in The Watchmen, you could really, you really throw that movie away, except for for his scenes. So he made The Watchmen at least somewhat palatable. So those are my 10. I didn't bring you in with no honorable mentions. I just hit my 10 up, and I hope some of the listeners out there agree. All right.
Good call. All right. So, Gunner, let's hear yours.
I'll just start out with.
Hold on. Before you say anything, I got to talk about my list. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
All right, Gunner.
Whatever.
Go ahead with your
the
list.
One that I swore no one was gonna get, so I had to react. I came in a little late, so did I miss Jason's All-Star Superman, or did I think?
Hey,
shut up.
Once again,
anyway,
listed as one of the best Superman storylines ever.
In 2008 by a joint that no one really reads, so chill out. Anyway.
All right, your list, sir.
My list. Another. I'm just gonna start off with what most of us started off with. Superman, Christopher Reeve. The end. That's my Superman. Harry Carvall came on the scene, but he ain't completed. He finished his contract. He's like, I'm out. They couldn't help him out with the movie. You know what I mean? He played the role that they asked him to play, but so did Christopher Reeves, and it worked. That's all I gotta say. Next, Michael Keaton as Batman. Here's why. If you're gonna go with Tim Burton's baking the joint, and then in the '80s, late '80s, early '90s, you're either gonna have Johnny Depp or Michael Keaton, and I don't see Johnny Depp playing either role, a Bruce or a Bat. I see what Michael Keaton did because it's more of a divided. The way they wrote him wasn't a ladies' man. It was more of a I'm divided. I look good in a tux, and yeah, I got a lot of money, and I'm like really confused about how I do this.
Okay, hold on. I'm actually gonna. You don't think Johnny Depp could have played him?
Not then.
Okay.
Nah, he wasn't Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp.
You said that. I'm like,
he was too young.
He was too young. But I'm like, Okay.
But he was also we never saw the depth of, sorry to say it like that, but the depth, not intended, the depth of Johnny Depp's actual acting at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was after or before Edward Scissorhands. Before, I mean, that dude didn't speak the whole joint, and you were like, "Yo, Johnny Depp's the shit," right? So, I mean, think about that. That was before. What's that one? Oh, but it was before all the pirate crap. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, this is like right before Gilbert Grape and all that.
There it is. Yeah. That's the other one I was thinking of. It's like, he wasn't quite there yet, at least in Hollywood's mind, right? So if you're gonna, but even Tim Burton, those were his two cats. So I don't know. I like Michael Keaton because at that time we've never seen a Batman like that on screen, right? So that was like the first darker, let's do it like this Batman, right? So I thought that was cool. Dustin Grant as the Flash, for several reasons, but the first and only reason I'm going to say in this brief is because he's not Ezra, whatever the hell, that dude that played the Flash in the Justice League.
Good call.
That's really one of the main reasons. The other reason is he's a believable freaking Flash and a believable Barry Allen, right? Yeah. Like young Barry Allen, you know what I mean? I think I came on when Jason mentioned this. Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade. Yeah, so we were watching, I believe it was either Soul Food or something like that at that time, or The Best Man in the theater. And the trailer came on for this black dude that's killing vampires, and my brain went, whoa, they're making comic book movies for real like that now in Marvel? Yeah. And there was nobody else who could play that role, period. Still, to this day. Maybe my birthday twin, Michael J. Wright, but no. Wesley Snipes got it. I thought Will Smith was a good Deadshot. Better than the guy that was on Arrow. I don't know his name, but I thought Will Smith played a good Deadshot. Like, yo, I'm doing this for my kid, man. Like, Will Smith is good at playing those kind of roles, actually. We're in my two best casting. No one else could ever play these roles ever. Patrick Stewart is Professor X. Who else? Who else? Seriously, who else was going to play that role?
James McAvoy.
Whatever. No. I'm talking about when they started coming out and they were like, yo, Professor X is going to be Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart is going to be Professor X. You were like, Of course.
Right.
Like, who else? You know what I mean? And then, of course, you got to carry it on.
Absolutely. He was on everybody's fan cast. Hey, you're going to make an X-Men movie? You got to have Patrick Stewart. Yes.
Right. There was no other way. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man was probably one of the best casts of all time, not just comic book movies, but just period. From if somebody's taking source material and saying, hey, who's an actor that could play this and pull this off and look like him, look like Tony Stark, that's Robert Downey.
Tom Cruise?
Like, that's funny. Now we're going back to the argument against Michael Keaton. No.
Can you imagine that?
Can you imagine, dude? That was a real serious bullet we all dodged. I don't feel like the MCU would be 22 films with Tom Cruise.
That's what I'm going to say. Us. I think Marvel dodged that bullet. Dodged that joint like Boris the Bullet Dodger. Okay. Speaking of bullets and not having to dodge them, Magneto, Michael Fassbender. I mean, the first class. When they were trying to force him into everything else, First Class and Days of Future Past. When they tried to force him into everything else, it was like, wait, this is, Apocalypse was just a bad movie, and we're not going to go see Phoenix except for Jeff. So come on.
Gunnar, I will say that in all of those movies, Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix, he is still the consistently great performer, even in those crappy films.
You're asking me to go through all the weeds.
No, I'm not asking you to watch that movie at all. I'm just saying that he's good. I'm not endorsing watching those movies, spending those precious seconds of life watching those movies. I'm simply saying that as someone who has survived those films, got the tin to show for it, the crappy T-shirt that doesn't fit right, he's good in those movies.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I mean, I've seen Apocalypse. I'm just saying, I don't doubt it. It's just, they just messed up. Again, Chief, what'd you say? Waste. Just a waste of great actors. It's just annoying. On to TV shows. If I had an honorable mention, it'd be Michael Coulter. Luke Cage, that was wonderful. But the dude that started it all off, that you could just be like, yo, this is believable, is Charlie Cox, Daredevil.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Talk about, I mean, I'm sure everybody had doubts because of Ben Affleck and what's her name? Oh, God. Jennifer Gardner's. Yeah. Oh, God. Just so many doubts. I'm like, man, they better. And then, I mean, the first episode, you're like, oh, okay, all right. They're going with the what's his name? The writer that did that Daredevil with the black mask. You know what I'm talking about. That was his. And then they kind of roped him into the regular comic book canon. I'll say it in a second. Anyways, Charles Cox, Daredevil, awesome. Opposite, and this is my number 9, I guess. Vincent, forgive me for the name.
D'Onofrio. Yeah, him. Yeah.
D'Onofrio. D'Onofrio.
Sure. The guy that played Kingpin. TV series.
Dude that played Kingpin and put on weight. I'm going to put on weight and play Kingpin.
Now, did you have Mike Coulter as your
honorable mention?
Oh,
honorable mention.
Okay.
Only because Charles Cox started that whole TV series thing.
Okay.
And made it work and believable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Michael Coulter was awesome, and Jessica Jones, and then it was like, of course he's going to be in his own joint. It was wonderful. Yeah, I thought the Kingpin Daredevil playoff was wonderful. I thought the character development of both of those characters were excellent, and it wouldn't have been pulled off without those two actors just pulling it off. Now, keep in mind, I was nowhere near a fan of Vincent D'Onofrio, whatever, because of the one that the Law and Order that got canceled. Was it not Special Victims Unit, the one that came after that?
So many different.
Right.
Ways.
Thank you. No one remembers. He was on that one. I was like, you gotta stop doing that. Just don't act anymore. And then he came on at Kingpin. I was like, holy crap, this guy's great. And yeah, I thought this was gonna be like the wild card that no one's gonna pick, but of course, I love Chief. Anyways, it was Jackie Early, Harley as Rorschach, because he literally made that movie. Not just because of, I mean, just all the, the dialogue was wonderful. He pulled it off. He had the perfect voice for it. You're not locked in here with me. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me. And also at the end, it was just like suddenly you become. I mean, just the way he pulled it off with a mask, and that's when you were like, I feel like I can see your face through this mask and how you're expressing yourself. Oh gosh, just the way he did it towards the end. Right at the end of the movie, right when he's, for those that haven't seen it, I won't spoil it, or read it. But when he was just like, suddenly you have a taste for humanity. How convenient. I was like, the way he pulled that line off right there was like, huh, okay, how do you not get nominated for an Oscar? Oh, it's a comic book movie. That's why. Anyways, those are my 10.
Good
and
choices.
Exclamations behind them.
And I feel like you guys are really shortchanging Watchmen, the movie. I think that movie did as
Whoa.
good an adaptation.
Hold on.
Wait, you were saying it was like the only good part of the movie?
I did not say that. I said he made that movie. I did not say I did not like that movie.
Okay. So you like the movie?
I'm like you.
When
they said this movie was coming out, I'm a huge fan of the comic. So when, because it was, me, I'm slightly an anarchist, man. I love this movie. Like, come on.
Slightly. Yo, I don't know if you've been reading it, but Doomsday Clock is basically DC's sequel, and it's awesome. It's been so good. So if you haven't been reading it,
I got it I got it from Amazon. Like,
so get on that one too.
Yeah,
it's great. All right, Jay King, are you ready?
I'm ready, chums. Let's do this.
All right, what you got?
All right, I'm gonna start with my number one, of course. Right. A lot of people may think I got a Danny DeVito fetish, but I was joking about the Wolverine thing. But Danny DeVito's Penguin.
Yo, I had him very close on my list. I think that performance is really underrated.
It really
he does
is.
Penguin perfect.
He does Penguin perfectly. Oswald Cobblepot was a mad genius, and he captured that. A disgusting little man. He captured all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot argue with that, dude.
Yeah, it was a decent movie, but he made it decent. There were elements of that movie that sucked, of course, because I mean,
really?
Maybe not. It's probably one of the greatest comic book movies of all time. I'm joking. You know that.
I think that movie's better than Batman.
Better than
I'm
it gets credit for. No, honestly, it gets shit on a lot, but it's actually better than we remember. It's just one of those things you got to go back and watch with new eyes and appreciate. Especially if you watch a lot of Drek over the years, that actually holds up well to me.
Okay. Christopher Walken.
I'm sorry. What do you have? What was the old issue with that movie? I don't understand it because I'm like,
you know what I think part of it is, and I'm gonna tell you something that I found, like going back and watching movies that were critically panned, but I actually ended up liking them as I got older. Like when I looked at them through my own eyes, and like I've talked about this before, how people will. No, seriously. I think when you look at
Darth Vader.
No, seriously. When you got people telling you that something was bad, I got people who tell me movies that are bad that they never seen just because everybody said they were bad. We all have that, right?
Well,
and
no,
it's like
not on this show.
Oh, really?
If we're saying it's bad, it means we watched it and we're like, dude, don't watch this movie. But no,
right.
Batman 2, Batman Returns was not terrible. Right?
It wasn't terrible, but a lot of people did not like that movie when it came out.
Well, you know why? The climax wasn't a climax.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
It's whack. That's why.
And nobody really stood behind neither of the villains. A lot of people didn't stand behind the villains. I guess because, they wanted something, they wanted other villains or whatever. They didn't feel like Michelle Pfeiffer was right as Catwoman or right. But, to me, his performance holds up. It really does hold up, especially the angle of him being becoming the mayor and all that. That's just beautiful. It was. I liked it. I really loved his performance in it. 2 and 3, we've already went over. Patrick Stewart as Professor X. There was no way you were going to cast anybody else. And this is not one of those roles you can say, okay, any British dude will do. No, since he was Captain Picard, he was Professor X. There's just no getting around it. Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. And if you ever look at the list of actors who could have potentially played Iron Man, this probably would, anybody other than him, and you look at that list, would have killed the MCU momentum. It would have died probably right there. Even though Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise's Iron Man don't work.
No, because Tom Cruise will play Tom Cruise playing Iron Man.
Exactly, it don't work. Christopher Reeves.
He'd be the dude playing the dude.
He'd be the dude playing the dude playing Iron Man. No, would not work. Christopher Reeves, of course, and we've gone over this. We've gone over this in other shows. They're still trying to replace or get Christopher Reeves out of the minds of the movie-going public when it comes to our Superman. John Bernthal, of course, is Punisher because he embodies that role. The dude is intense, and honestly, now that the show is over, they ought to be thinking about making a movie. They can just go ahead and do that. Carl Urban.
Javon.
Yeah.
I'm briefly interrupt you. Apparently, this Netflix deal with Marvel has benched all of those guys from appearing in a Marvel production for the next 2 years.
This is why I hate.
I don't know.
Two's not bad.
Me too.
Two's,
but what I'm saying, I'm wondering if.
Now,
so yeah, I'm kind of wondering if that means John Bernthal and Kristen Ritter, their 2 years starts now, and Mike Coulter. Charlie Cox.
Right.
If theirs started last year.
Oh, that's so whack. Yeah.
That's bull.
How that works out.
That's bull.
Ben
That
Jones,
should not be the case.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't Jessica Jones come out?
Yeah, it did.
Apparently, no
advertising whatsoever.
Yeah, they weren't.
Wow.
Sad. That's sad. That's sad. We 2 years from now is a long time. We need that right yesterday. All right, next one. Carl Urban in Dredd. I dreaded seeing the new Dredd because
that's awesome.
Hey, Jay sold me on seeing the new Judge Dredd, the one that came out in goddamn 2012.
Watch
now,
it
right?
In 3D.
Dude, I wish I would have.
Wait,
and I'm gonna tell you something.
Wait, you have it?
Oh, you got it?
Yes, okay. Dude. What are you doing this weekend? You can literally come over. I will.
All right. Yeah, I ain't
that is, and if you're watching it in 2D and like it, that movie is a 3D selling movie.
Wow.
It is a whole different experience. It's great on its own, but man, for 3D, it's like, wow, I need to buy a 3D thing.
I mean, just like when Lena Hatter's in the bathroom does the drugs, you see that in 3D. It's like, must buy 3D TV now. Bad thing.
That one and Tron Legacy are the movies that made me decide I don't care if it's a fad. I am buying a 3D TV so I can watch these again in 3D.
I dig it.
Not Avatar.
Oh, God, no. Please, never.
Avatar.
Never say Avatar. All right, so that's Carl Urban. Next up, Fassbender as Magneto. He's worked his way up my list because he just, I can't say between, but all of the movies, the newest X-Men movies, he and McAvoy and Quicksilver have been the selling points in all these movies. And as much as...
not Jennifer Lawrence.
Well, you know,
my fault. You haven't finished your list yet. I'm
underrated. Sorry. You know, she's so underrated. You know, we love her. Yeah, no. Fassbender and McAvoy have been the reason why you watch these movies. And my man that plays Quicksilver, I don't know who he is, but he's only on screen for like a minute at a time. But those minutes are really the price of admission because the Quicksilver scenes for all of them, they're well worth it. They're well worth it. Heath Ledger, of course, we don't need to go into that for the Joker.
Evan Peters is his name.
Evan Peters, all right.
He was also in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, he was. Hugh Jackman, of course, for reasons we'll need to get into. And last but not least, J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson.
Now, I'm sorry, I forgot. You said Fassbender, and then who was after that?
Jackman.
And then J.K. Simmons. So it looks like you got one more choice.
I thought I had 10. Oh, shit. If I got to give it to anybody at gunpoint, best cast, this list ain't going to deviate much. I mean, there's a lot. If I got to name somebody that hasn't been named, I'll say that. Even though he was cast right, but the movie sucked and his part in it sucked, if this even makes sense, I felt like in a different type of movie. I felt like in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, Jim Carrey as the Riddler could have been something special.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. He was really good for what they wanted him to do.
We mentioned that recently in another episode that he would be good as Jim Carrey now.
Right.
Jim Carrey is now.
Yeah. I think I said that.
And with this current presentation of the Riddler. Yeah. I think he did a great job for that era of Riddler, and he would do a great job now. All right, so now it's my turn. And I managed to avoid some of the choices y'all did. But I think we have this interesting divide on Superman. I am going to break the tie and go Christopher Reeve. Henry Cavill is great, but man, Christopher Reeve is basically one of these dudes that inspired this list. He's always been Superman. Everybody else is number 2. And there can be a strong number 2, but there's only going to be one Superman. It's Christopher Reeve. Number 2, I'm going to keep it right with Superman and not go with Margot Kidder, but even though she'd basically be my Lois Lane because there's not a better one. Terrence Stamp. That dude is General Zod. I don't care who else tries to play the role. It's always him. Number 3.
Clapping internally in my head.
Yeah. Number 3, Chris Evans, because the dude was perfect as Human Torch. So perfect that, like, Jace, I'm like, why Chris Evans? There are other blonde dudes who can play Captain America. But then he turned around and basically became Captain America. If you follow his Twitter, he's calling out Nazis. He's, like, fighting for justice. I mean, the dude is literally Captain America in real life, too. So, yeah, totally him. Robert Downey Jr., I think, is pretty much a clean sweep for all of us here. Obvious. He needed to be Iron Man. And he had that really interesting personal life issues that made his choice work even more. So, yeah. Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. Yeah. I mean, geez, he was perfect. So perfect that he almost made X-Men Origins Wolverine less nausea-inducing. Number 6, somebody I'm surprised nobody else went with, Tom Hiddleston, Loki. I know anyone could do that, but he just was so perfect. They just kept giving him more screen time. And he's actually going to have a spin-off show that I'm interested in watching because he's so good as Loki. Next up, early one, this is a guy who had done a lot in this universe, but he's so good that I want to see more. Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange. So good in that role. Like when he called Tony Stark a douche. It's perfect. Yeah, I really like him. And Batman Returns gets a representation for me on my list. Not Danny DeVito, but Michelle Pfeiffer. She was perfect. And I did purr intentionally. Yeah, she was great. And she just captured the whole weak Selena Kyle thing, who transforms into this vindictive, I've got lives to spare, and I'm coming to kill people who wronged me, Catwoman. And I like her patchwork outfit. It was a real tough choice between her and Halle Berry, but ultimately I decided to go with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Was it a matter of outfits or acting?
If Halle Berry makes this list at all, it's only for outfits.
Yeah. Kind of thought so.
Yep. Wesley Snipes, absolutely, because his Blade was cool. I mean, I didn't really pay attention to Blade as a comic character. I knew of him. I thought he was cool enough. I mean, he was one of like the few black dudes running around in Marvel. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But oh my gosh, his performance was so cool. And it made it like, man, Blade is the coolest dude running in the Marvel universe, dude. So yeah, totally him. I'm with Javon. J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson. He was the character from the comic who just immediately went into the movie, and it was just like perfect. Like, this dude that's the obnoxious tyrant of the Daily Bugle, and he's perfect in that role. And I got a couple of honorable mentions since we're doing that stuff. Chadwick Boseman, because I don't think anybody could do it better. Black Panther, his commitment to actually getting the accent down and not doing what Scarlett Johansson did. Even though I love her Black Widow now, I hated that she didn't have a Russian accent. So I really liked that Chadwick was like, nah, dude, I'm supposed to be from Africa, Wakanda. I'm going to get this accent down. And honorable mentions on this one are because they're both great in these roles, and I can't really pick one or the other. Michael Fassbender, Ian McKellen as Magneto, and James McAvoy and Patrick Stewart as Professor X. My TV rep is Robin Lord Taylor, Gotham's Penguin, because the dude was great, and I just loved his quirky take on the character. So that's my choices. Fellas, we're wrapping up this episode. So now it's that special magical time of the week. Who are your nominees for Dummy of the Week? Let's start with you, Chief. Chief,
I knew he was gonna pick me first.
Yeah. I heard from you in a minute, man. I was making sure you weren't getting your playlist ready for tonight's Slow Jams.
No, man. You know what it is. I got back from Jamaica and I happened to get a cold. So I've been sick. So, this is what happens when I get sick here. And it's funny because whenever you mention Dummy of the Week, I'll always have somebody in mind that I'll be thinking about, and then you'll say, "Hey, Chief," and then that thing will just fly out my head.
You want me to come back to you then?
Yeah, give me 10 seconds.
All right.
Go ahead. Get this. It's my
Jason's here for me.
Okay. My dummy of the week is going to go for Ms. Cultural Appropriations, Ms. Kim Kardashian West. Ms. Kardashian West thought that she could decide to make a line of body wear based on a name that just sounded, she just plucked it out of the sky. I think kimonos works perfectly for a shapewear. And she decided to try and get that trademark, which would have meant actual kimonos would not be able to be used as kimonos.
It's mine now.
Needless to say, the Patent and Trademark Office slapped her down like, are you freaking kidding me? And the rest of the world, once they found out she really tried to do that, they're like, Kim, we're going to need you to go on timeout and think about that one. And after some reflection, she decided to back down her cultural appropriation. So my dummy of the week is Ms. Kim Kardashian West.
Jay King, how about you?
Oh God, we could name a couple, but I'm gonna keep it in the sports world because I thought this was particularly hilarious. The New York Knickerbockers. I'm sorry, Chief. I'm sorry, Chief.
I was like, I knew it was coming.
I mean, I could put the Washington Wizards in there because, for what it's worth, they traded two of their best assets over the year and got nothing in return because none of the players they got back stayed. This is what happens when your general manager has to clean the grease trap in the concessions court. Nobody wants the job. The Knicks. This is a dead horse, man. The Knicks are a catastrophe. But when you have $80 million in cap space to give away, and you're in the NBA, and this is what it's about, free agency, guys signing big contracts, and you have $80 million of cap space, like you have nearly the whole threshold of salary cap space to give away in the off season, and you literally can't give this money away. There's no way to describe it. It's like the house giving away whole bar candy bars at Halloween, and no one even rings their doorbell. You got to be a nightmare. You got to be it's something wrong. And just the fact that everybody thought that they were going to get Zion Williams, I knew that wasn't going to happen. It was counting all of these magical, mystical things, counting on all of these things happening for a franchise that can't get the basics right. And like I said before, in a different era where David Stern ran the show, yes, the Knicks would have gotten the number one pick in this draft. But then again, for what it's worth, they didn't get LeBron James in 2003. Not to say that they were as bad as they were now then, but it seems like over the last decade and a half where these draft picks would have gone to the Knicks, or some of these blue chips would have gone to the Knicks, they haven't been. Teams like the Clippers and the Cavs, it's craziness.
You think about it, it's not just they lose, it's they don't get the draft picks. It's like,
right.
Once these guys are actually free agents, they're just like, no, I'm good. It's like,
I'm good.
But we're in New York.
Yeah, so
good.
what?
I'm going to go to Brooklyn. What? Brooklyn?
Well, and I'm
just saying, like, if you were talking in terms of marketing, you're like,
oh yeah,
you're just like, Manhattan, Brooklyn, come on.
Well, to go play in the Garden, man, the history of it's New York, it's the Knicks. If I'm gonna play in New York City, I'm gonna play in New York City. I'm gonna play for the Knicks. But James Dolan has ruined that franchise, man. You can't fire ownership. That's the damnedest part about it. And if there's any consolation to our Knicks fans, look it. The thing in Brooklyn ain't gonna work. When KD comes back in 2020, I'm not saying he's gonna be a shell of himself, but he's not gonna be the same ball player. He's not.
Look at Rudy Gay.
Yeah, the Achilles injury is one that takes something away from the player. And his game isn't totally above the rim. I know that, but your lateral movements will suffer. His will suffer. And this is the other factor. He's not 25 anymore. He's 31. He'll be 31 when he comes back on the floor. And we all know Kyrie Irving. It's just I can't even thoroughly describe Kyrie Irving. He seems like he's just the most unhappiest guy in the NBA living his dream. I don't get it about him. That ain't gonna work. They had something.
Living his worst life.
Probably so.
He's living his worst life.
Every day in the NBA. Go figure. But that's mine. Sorry, Knicks fans.
Yeah. My choice for dummies of the week are all the people who are frantically at work right now, hammering away on their websites, talking about Halle Bailey being cast as Ariel in Disney's Little Mermaid remake because they lose their mind that a mermaid is being played by a black woman. I can't wait. So those are absolutely going to be my dummies of the week.
Jeff, can I just say something real quick?
A real mermaid cannot be black. Hello, have you seen a black mermaid before?
Hello? I mean, seriously. What? Whoa.
Wait. Let me say this.
You haven't seen a mermaid? Hey, I saw one on the internet, okay? They were white, okay?
Aren't real.
Whoa.
No!
So yeah, I can't wait for that. So fellas, thank y'all as always for rolling. All y'all out there listening, thanks. Remind you one more time to subscribe to Lyle's Movie Files podcast all over Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Check us out on Twitter at Lyle's Movie Files, Facebook, Lyle's Movie Files, and let us know what you think of the show. Thank y'all out there for listening. This episode of Lyle's Movie Files has been filed.